Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing your April 2020 tarot and astrology predictions. This time we are going to be doing them a little bit differently than usual. And don't worry guys, they are not going to be shorter than usual. If anything, they're going to be probably longer. I'm preparing a very long video, so all you need to do is check your timestamp provided below. I recommend you always start with your rising sign or ascendant first. It is your most accurate placement. And for those of you who don't know how to find your ascendant, I'm also going to provide you a calculator link down below. Then you can also find your sun and moon signs, check them out as well. And something that I personally do, and if you're like an astrology, what they call it, OG or something, if you really know like your astrology, I also find actually for specific predictions, very often your relocated ascendant sign works, and even your progress placement. So I would just for fun, if you have time, check out your progress prediction and also your relocated, see if it resonates, see if it makes sense to you, because for me personally it does. I always check what's happening with my progress sign and also what's happening with my relocated sign, especially if you're living somewhere for a long time. It can be very accurate. But of course, your rising sign is per your natal chart, comes first, then the sun and the moon, and then the rest of it. But there is still going to be an extended video as well. So there is going to be just like every month's extended video for those of you who are resonating with the reading and want to know more available. Links are going to be provided down below as well. Links to Vimeo where you can purchase the extended. And anyway guys, let's get started. I want to start this with a collective just overview what's going to be happening in the months of April astrologically. I think it's very important in these times. And well, April is going to be a very interesting month. Right now in March there's so much going on, and in April I think things are going to be very interesting as well. So first and foremost, I think the largest development I think is going to be Saturn's progression into the sign of Aquarius. First of all, of course, I'm using Western astrology for those of you who don't know. Saturn's going to be progressing in the sign of Aquarius. It's going to make a square to Uranus in the sign of Taurus, and I'm going to be talking about this in each of you sign by sign predictions as well, how it's personally going to affect you. But I feel like on the collective there is going to be still continuously probably trying to find a certain balance, trying to find stability in the unstable. See, until 2026, I feel like we really, if we want to strive in the environment we are in, we really need to understand that the only constant is change. And things, like everyone is asking, right, when will things get back to normal? I really think with Uranus and Taurus until 2026, and just with the astrological alignments that are going to be taking place throughout 2020s as a decade, I really feel like, if you really want to prepare yourself better, it's important to understand that the only constant is change. And especially with Uranus and Taurus, this is not so much about trying to find comfort, but about finding new ways of being comfortable in the uncomfortable, if you know what I mean. So this is not about trying to find necessarily the comfort and stability, because things are going to be changing a lot throughout the years, and we're going to see even some of the glimpses of that in April as well. But the only thing I think that really makes sense and really works is, as Uranus rules this constant change, unexpected events, unexpected developments, what we can do is to find comfort in the uncomfortable. I don't know if you guys practice yoga, I do, but you know how yoga instructors often say how, it's not so much about fighting what's happening right when you're in a comfortable pose, but rather finding the way to breathe, finding a way to center yourself through whatever is taking place. So this is kind of like your equivalent, I would say, of energetic development. Now, what's also going to be interesting is that Venus is going to be switching signs from the Taurus, home placement of Taurus, into the sign of Gemini, where it's going to stay for the next few months, and it's going to be a retrograde there. I'm going to be making a separate video about this. It's going to be a very important development, and it's going to attract and it's going to affect each of yours love life in different ways. We're going to have a lot of energy in the sign of Aquarius. Mars is going to be in the sign of Aquarius as well. Sun is going to be shifting from Aries to Taurus. Once again, I'm using Western astrology, so if it's not the kind of astrology school you resonate with, check out somebody else's prediction. But with Mercury continuing being in Pisces, Chiron being in Aries, and also last moments of North Node being in the sign of Cancer, while the South Node of Capricorn, I think for a lot of us this is going to be a month of big choices, big realizations, perhaps even a last opportunity to change something in certain area of our life in a major way. Now, of course, this month we're also going to see Jupiter conjunct Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. So there is going to be empowerment, and there is going to be certain, I would say, transformative events in each of our single lives. I feel like as much as, Saturn and Pluto, I think really brought the current situation that's taking place in the world in the months of January. With Jupiter conjunct Pluto, we will see further development of that. And perhaps, for some people, I think it could be like a crisis of faith. For others, I feel like it could be extremely transformative time of even awakening. There is going to be a positive, I think, movement forward and positive resolution of the events. Things are going to start changing for the better. But in each of our lives, it's also going to be a different area that's going to be affected, where we will have to make certain big, I would say, transformative choices for ourselves as well. Overall, for those of you, because so many people have been messaging me and asking me like what do I think also from astrological perspective on everything that's currently going on in the world, and I did upload videos about that, and it's kind of like things that are constantly changing, and people are very sensitive to whatever is being offered, whatever perspective is being offered. I think just because there is so much information right now, and some of it is misinformation, some of that is just too much. One only thing I would say, looking at, I look at the universe as the universe of cause and effect. I do not use astrology in a way some astrologers use it, where I believe that everything is predetermined and everything is fatalistic, or things are set a certain way or whatever. I actually like to use astrology in a way where we can see certain things, where they're going, and actually our purpose as humanity, and especially our purpose as spiritual beings, is to understand that this universe is based on the law of cause and effect, and also we have a lot of power to raise above our zodiac, to raise above limiting influences of our zodiac influences. And I make a lot of content that kind of helps you also understand that, so check out my other astrology videos. So I really think that whatever is going on, as I'm looking at that, is a big opportunity to understand certain things where maybe we haven't necessarily planted the right seeds. And now it is this opportunity to really change certain things in our lives. I really think that on a spiritual level, certain events that are taking place now in the world is in a way a mirror of the reality we've been living for a very long time. Because if you think about it, we've been, we haven't really had any restrictions in the past years. You could go where you want, you could spend time with whoever you want. Yet, with technology, as much as technology brought us together, I really think that everyone was noticing there was that element of separation. Let's say you go to hang out with your friends and everyone's sitting on their phone. Like, we seem to be so close together, yet we're so far, yet we're so apart. And I really think that, especially currently, I don't know where you guys are at, but I'm in America, I'm in the United States, in Los Angeles. Right now, a lot of people are kind of self-isolating or are feeling isolated physically. And I really think that what happens is, in a way, universe mirrored back to us what's been going on before. So we've been kind of isolated, I think, emotionally, spiritually, if you will. And now it's like we are taking that effort to connect, but we're isolated physically. So if you understand the mirroring effect, it would really make sense to you. Now, I don't want to go anymore so much into that topic, just because I know so many people are sensitive to that, and I'm going to go into your individual predictions in a moment. But what I want to say, and something that I personally started doing, is looking at how I can bring more unity into whatever situations are out there. I've seen amazing things been happening lately, like families who haven't talked to each other for a long time, friends who've been in conflict, really been checking up on each other, asking each other how they're doing. And this really, inspires me a lot, when I look at humanity as a whole. So for you, I would just recommend, it's something like, I don't know if it's a recommendation, but I would just say, if there is somebody you've been in conflict with, if there is somebody you've been maybe, feeling separated from, reach out, stretch that hand, ask a person if they are okay. Don't expect, of course, if it's a loved one necessarily, that they're gonna give you the kind of love you expect, or they're gonna understand you in the way you expect. But just a simple gesture of reaching your hand to someone, metaphorically, of course, and just reaching out to people, asking if people are okay. Maybe it's an opportunity to reconnect with family. Maybe it's an opportunity to reconnect with a friend you had conflict with. Just ask someone if they're okay. Bring a little bit more of that consciousness of unity. And anyway, guys, that's all I really have to say about the collective. I don't want to go too deep into that right now, at least. Maybe I will also make sure you follow my Patreon. We haven't posted there yet, but we will be posting soon. I'm gonna make a little bit more, things that you don't necessarily want to say out in the open. I'm gonna talk more about those things there, so check it out. And anyway, let's start with your horoscope. So once again, there is going to be a timestamp for each sign. I recommend you start with your rising sign and also check your sun and your moon. If you know your progressed ascendant and if you know your relocated ascendant, if let's say you're not living where you were born, like for example, I'm not from the United States, I have a different relocated ascendant here in Los Angeles where I live, so I'm checking that as well. So you can do that. If it's too complicated, don't worry about it. Just check your sun, moon, and rising. If you don't know your rising, don't know your time of birth, just check your sun and your moon. It's still going to resonate. We're going to start with astrology portion for each sign, and there's going to be a tarot reading within. I promise you guys they're not going to be shortened or anything like that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like my content, if you like my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share your videos. This helps me tremendously, and this is something very little. If you wonder how you can give back, can help me a lot. Thank you guys so much, and anyway, let's go to your reading. Hi Cancerians, welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be doing your April 2020 prediction. So anyway, what is the big news really for Cancerians for this month? Of course, we know that Saturn is going to be changing signs from the sign of Capricorn, where it was in your 7th house, and going into your 8th house. So I think that, you know, especially if you're Cancerian rising, past few years with relationships have been extremely tough. Having, you know, Saturn there, having Pluto there, of course, having South Node there as well. So I feel like in a way, maybe even if it's not going to happen right away in April, maybe it's going to happen closer to May, you will see the reason why maybe you couldn't settle before, or maybe why something didn't work out, why something, you know, was the way it was. So in a way, with Saturn going from your 7th to your 8th house, it is going to push you to transform, to rethink intimacy. There could be some blockages in the intimacy, but once again, it doesn't have to be necessarily the bad manifestation of it. You might look at what are the blockages where you don't trust people are, and, you know, also find ways to overcome that. Of course, this is also going to be the last month of South Node in the sign of Capricorn in your 7th house, and the last month of also North Node being on your ascendant sign. So I really feel like the soul searching you've been perhaps doing in this past years is kind of like you start seeing there is a sense of a chapter once again kind of like being closing, and you're starting to see why maybe some relationship didn't work out, why you were hoping for something when it comes to maybe even not necessarily a romantic relationship but business partnership, and it didn't work out either. So there is that. It feels like there is, you know, it's interesting because for Cancerian, right, Cancer is your 1st house, and then of course Leo is your 2nd, Virgo is your 3rd, so Libra is your 4th house. 4th house itself represents security, and you have Libra there, which is a sign of partnership. So for Cancers, most Cancers find that security in their relationships. So I do think that whenever, you know, your relationships are triggered somehow, or, you know, kind of like things are not so easy in your relationships, it feels like your whole life, you know, is in the state of turmoil. So I do think that, you know, in the coming months, it is going to be a relief when it comes to your relationships. You do have to, I feel like, of course, right now, you know, everyone is kind of like on this lockdown, isolation, but I do feel like for you being more open to expand your social circles, whether it's even just online, or being open to maybe, you know, communicating with people who you're not normally communicating with, is going to also help you perhaps bring the love that you're looking for. Now, of course, you know, there is some issues when it comes to your career. I feel like with Chiron and the sign of Aries in your 10th, you might kind of have that vision and that idea of what you want to do in your life, but you're wounded at times, you're not sure, maybe there's some kind of self-worth issues when it comes to your career, you're not sure that you actually can achieve what you want to achieve, so there is going to be focus on that as well. You know, I do feel like for a lot of you guys, there is going to be an opportunity to really, if you are in a relationship, if you are in a partnership, to also see how can you transform your partnerships as well. Like transformation is going to be a big theme for you. Entire Saturn transit in the sign of Aquarius, and of course in April as well. Anyway, let's go to your cards right now. I want to make sure I give you a little bit more tarot this month. Let's take a look. What does my Cancerian needs to know in the sign of April? We have your first card here, the 7 of Wands. Ouch. Too many cards. Let's see what else. We also have here 3 of Swords. Okay, not a good start. We also have here 10 of Cups. We have here 2 of Wands, 4 of Wands. We have here 10 of Wands. And we have here the 6 of Swords. Okay, the way I'm seeing this is for a lot of you guys, there is going to be a choice whether you want to continue a certain partnership of yours or whether it's time, you know, to leave this behind and go forward. I do feel like with the Seven of Wands to the Three of Swords, there is a sense here of, you know, if someone here doesn't respect your boundaries, if someone here violates your boundaries, doesn't really honor you, for a lot of you guys, there might be a painful moment where you might like realize, well, I really hope this person was different, or I really hope this person would understand me in this kind of way. But I feel like if this person is not gonna honor you in the way that you want to be honored, you will find a way how, as much as it's gonna be painful and, you know, it's time to say goodbye, you're going to find a way to say goodbye to this, because what you do really want is this Ten of Cups. You want happiness. You realize that, you know, for a chance of better future, you're willing to risk what you have now. So it's like, you know how sometimes, I don't know if it's like in your culture or if you resonate with this or not, but sometimes people are like, well, but what if I break up with him or her? What if I end up with no one? What if I'll end up alone? And people sometimes, out of fear, right? You know, like out of fear to be alone, they stay in relationships that are toxic. They stay in relationships that are not for their higher good. So I do feel that, you know, it's like, for some of you guys, if you've been also staying in a relationship or in a connection with someone or waiting for someone who you knew deep down, maybe you really hoped to end up with this person, but you just kind of seeing that, you know, it's just not working out the way I thought it would. For the hope, you know, for a chance of better future, for a chance of a better relationship, I feel like some of you guys are going to choose to exit certain situation, because I feel like with this Two of Wands to the Four of Wands, you do know that in the future, in the near future, there is a partnership that's possible. You kind of feel like you're close to it. I do think there is a better relationship that's going to come along for you. Maybe it's not going to happen in the months of April, but I feel like with the Ten of Wands here, the sooner you also release the burden that you've been carrying, whether it was a burden of relationship or if it was a burden of just trying to make things work with someone, the closer you will get to a partnership you always wanted to. I do think this partnership will be coming up for a lot of you. Let's see what else, guys. We have here strength. This is also about your 8th house transformation that's going to be taking place. And Queen of Pentacles, I really feel what also a lot of Cancers will benefit from now is really secure their position financially. If you can secure your financial your financial position, if you can secure a financial position financially, what I was gonna say, if you're gonna secure your position, I feel like, we know with the Strength card, it's like whatever calamities you find yourself in, you have kind of like that safety net here. But I also feel like it's not just about financial, but it's also about your internal security. For a lot of you guys, I feel like when South Node went into your 7th house, there seemed to be no security. Like you felt that, you know, whatever you're trying to do, you're trying to find security in another person, it's all falling apart. So I really feel like for you, if you still haven't found that security within yourself, there is going to be an opportunity to do that, because you do have a lot to offer. But I feel like the less desperate you appear, the stronger your position is here. We also have here Queen of Swords. I feel like for a lot of you guys, it is also a time to just really, you know, assert yourself in some way. It's like if someone hasn't been giving you that either commitment or that happiness, or, you know, that, I don't say validation, but maybe like respecting yourself, validating you in some way that you wanted to, I do feel like you guys are here cutting this off. You're in this place where you kind of like really asserting yourself if you haven't been able to. We have here Knight of Pentacles. For a lot of you guys, there's a big focus also on finances and on career right now. We have here Two of Pentacles. You might be juggling certain things. There are certain issues right now, maybe even at work, that needs to be, you know, balanced, that needs to be juggled, that needs to be, you know, reassessed, maybe even for some of you. And we have here Nine of Swords. I do see a lot of Cancerians are quite worried in the months of April as well. I would say that, I'll be honest with you, the first either 9 days of 2 weeks might be a bit heavier for you, but it is going to get better after that. I do think April is going to be, honestly, not a walk in the park for any, you know, for any sign. It doesn't matter what sign you are. But I feel like Cancerians here, because like your sense of security here is really triggered for you. You might find yourself sometimes being anxious and maybe not sure how you're gonna, you know, balance certain situation out. Maybe you're worried also for people you care about. But once again, I do feel like the 2 first weeks or first even 9 days are going to be a little bit more difficult, but it is going to get better, much better after that. So if you find yourself, you know, in a difficult position first 2 weeks, do not panic, because once again, either after 9 days or about 2 weeks, things are going to get better. We also have here Ace of Pentacles, because what you don't know is actually, as much as right now your security is at stake, there is going to be an opportunity for you to be really secure financially. But I think that financial security is going to come if you are not afraid of things changing, if you are not afraid to maybe face something that is more scary, that is more uncomfortable. The more you're going to open yourself up to the uncomfortable and perhaps to the things that you're normally not okay with, like maybe it's about doing something you were always scared about to do, maybe it's about having that conversation you're always scared of, facing that fear, you know, of something, the more you're gonna find yourself able to generate blessings. That's what I'm seeing here. Let's see what else. Okay, we have these cards want to come out. All right. We have the Three of Cups. We also have here the Hermit. We have here Four of Cups. I do feel like there might have been also either a Virgo person or maybe another Cancerian you've been connecting with. Someone here being also alone and lonely and waiting maybe for a signal or a sign for you. But at the same time, I do feel like someone here is also not being very open to relationships. Could be a person you were connecting with. We do have here Three of Cups. I feel like some friendly reunions are going to be happening as well. But with the Seven of Swords to the Two of Cups, I do feel like when it comes to your relationships, there is this desire to have a beautiful partnership, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that you cannot make sense of with the Seven of Swords here. So what I would advise to you is, as much as you want that beautiful relationship, that beautiful partnership, just because you want it, do not ignore the red flags. Do not ignore the things that also maybe are unsettling. It's important, I feel like, here to face the truth, whatever that truth is. The more you're going to be able to face the truth, the more you're going to be able to not be afraid of endings, the more you're going to find yourself, you know, on the way to the beautiful partnership that you've always wanted to. The uncomfortable conversations also within relationships is also what could really help you, you know, strengthen your partnership if you are in a good partnership already. Let's see, what is your advice from Animal Spirit Oracle? We have here Sing Your Own Song. So it could be also a time for you to really find your own voice, find yourself. Once again, North Node is going to stay in your sign for the last months, in the months of April. So whenever we have North Node transiting either our Ascendant, Sun, or Moon, this is our time to really focus on ourselves. And I really hate to say focus on yourself, as you know, most generic people, like, you know, who give generic messages do, but actually the time when North Node especially is on your Ascendant, but also on your Sun and Moon, this is the time where you have a little bit less control when it comes to other people, but you can really grow and develop yourself. So we have here Sing Your Own Songs. For a lot of you guys, this is going to be an important time to just really find your own voice and not be afraid of it, not be afraid of expressing yourself. Let's take you also an oracle card from here. We are also going to take this to the extended to take a look deeper at everything. Let's take a look. We have here Get Grounded and also Trust the Niggle. So what I'm getting from this is that for a lot of you guys, there could be extremely, you know, highly sensitive time, because we do have here empaths, highly sensitive, connect with nature. So your best bet right now is to connect with nature, find a way to ground yourself. I do feel like you guys could be very anxious. We did have here the Nine of Swords. So there's a lot of anxiety for Cancerians. However, it doesn't have to be like that. Once again, I do feel like you can, if you recognize that, you can find a way to get to ground yourself, to just find peace, to find serenity. And we also have here Trust the Niggle. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? Trust your intuition at this time as well. If your intuition is telling you not to do something, trust it. At the same time, don't go into like paranoid and fear mode, because that's the thing. Sometimes our intuition is telling us, okay, be more careful, do not do this, do not do that. That is okay. That is intuition. You can be okay trusting that, because it's trying to protect you from something. Now, when you find yourself totally, you know, out of center and panicking and being like, oh, I don't know, should I do this? Should I do this? Like, that is not really intuition. This is more of a chaotic fear. So your intuition will be more of a calm feeling with a direction. Do not go there, or go there, or do this today. This is more of an intuitive feeling. Now when you find yourself totally just running around and not sure what you're doing, this is not really intuition. This is more of a fear. So for a lot of you guys, this is going to be an important moment to ground that anxiety that you've been experiencing and really just start listening to your intuition, develop your intuition more, and trust also the sensations that are coming up. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys. Once again, with partnerships, I do feel like you guys are going to be taking a chance, taking a risk. There seems to be also a new partnership on the way. We're going to take a look at that as well, because I do feel like there is, for most of you guys, it's a new relationship, a new partnership. Also, we have a full moon of Libra, which is your 4th house, on the April 7, around April 7, April 8. I think there's going to be some important developments with partnerships as well. So it's going to be very important. I'm also hearing word Sagittarius. So I don't know if you are Sagittarius, or if you're dealing with Sagittarius. Also Aries is important, Capricorn even as well, another Scorpio. But the signs don't have to be. Anyway, a link to extended is going to be down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much. I hope you're doing okay and feeling safe. We're going to talk really soon. Hi Scorpios, welcome to your April 2020 reading. So let's get started. First and foremost, of course, the biggest news of this month is that Saturn is going to be going to your 4th house, where it was in your 3rd house for quite a long time. So for me, this is very interesting, because I like to look at transits not just as what's happening like right this second, but also where is it going, what are the next month's transits are. And looking at how North Node is about to go to your 8th house, while Saturn is in your 4th house, I feel like for a lot of Scorpios, this is going to be a time for some very big shifts when it comes to relationships and when it comes to connections. There is going to be a very big focus on a family, home, opening yourself up to someone else emotionally. For a lot of Scorpios, I think, there's been a lot of focus on being independent recently, on kind of like, making sure you don't have to rely on anyone so much, making sure you're all good by yourself, like a standalone island, maybe for some people. Now, especially, you might not feel it immediately in April, but in May, when North Node is going to start transiting your 8th house, when Venus is going to go there as well, I really feel like for a lot of Scorpios, there's going to be a time to start really understanding that you cannot get everything you want to get done by yourself. For some of you, maybe it is time to stop working so hard, if especially you've been overworking yourself up to a point that you had no personal life, up to a point you didn't date anyone, up to a point that you were just all by yourself. And maybe this did come from some trauma or through some pain. Maybe when Saturn was transiting, sign of Scorpio, just there's been this feeling that you gotta just rely on yourself and you just gotta be by yourself. It could have been already started happening like 2013 even, so this is something that you've been feeling for the past 7 years even, but especially in the past year and in the past few years, there's been this very big focus of Scorpios on being independent, like just, well, I don't need anyone, I can have this all, I can achieve all of these things on my own. So there is that energy, but at the same time, I would also say that right now it feels like this is the moment for you to really open up to someone and really start trusting, because I feel like for you, like Saturn is going to start pushing you to really open up yourself emotionally, see where maybe you're closing yourself off. I see for some Scorpios a scenario, especially maybe for ladies, but maybe even for men as well, where you've been trying to do so much on your own and suddenly you will maybe start dating someone who will start taking care of you. I know as much as for you it's hard to imagine right now, you're like, well, I've had all these horrible boyfriends, I didn't even want anything from them, and that they still, treated me badly. I know I resonate with this. Maybe this could be a time for you to receive something positive, especially if you've been, you've been genuinely looking for love. You've been really trying to find something genuine, and maybe you didn't find that. Maybe now universe is also going to kind of like pay you back, and you're gonna find a person who is not only going to be comforting you emotionally, but I even see for some Scorpios a scenario in the next few months where you will start a partnership with someone where a person might be helping you financially, and you will have to let go a little bit of the South Node in your 2nd house. You will have to let go of that, well, I can do everything on my own, I don't need anyone. You will have to let go of that mentality and instead, first of all, open yourself up, your sexual side, even with the 8th house. Was 8th house has to do with sexuality, but it also has to do with the resources of other people. So I do see for a lot of you, there's going to be a relationship where It could be even financially beneficial relationship for you. Someone is going to be taking care of you. Somebody is going to be like, hey, I want to be there for you. If it's not financial, it could be just emotional, but still. There is going to be, of course, a Jupiter conjunction Pluto in your 3rd house very early in the month of April as well. So maybe something important and interesting could be development then. Even though I think on the collective level, Jupiter conjunct Pluto 1st week of April is going to be not the best. It could be crisis of faith for a lot of people. For Scorpios, actually, surprisingly, since, you know, on an individual level, Pluto represents Scorpios, there could be, you know, certain blessing that could come into your life. There could be something very positive that could come into your life. And if it's kind of does make sense, right? Because Pluto is a sense of crisis. Scorpios are somebody who is also very crisis prone. However, in times when everyone is going crazy pretty much because of crisis and finding themselves totally not knowing how to deal with it, Scorpio is surprisingly one of the signs. I don't want to say that can benefit from it, but at the very minimum, Scorpios usually know what is it they're doing. Like that's why Scorpios make excellent crisis workers, because for Scorpios it is such a natural environment. Then if not strive in it, they at least have this very clear idea of, well, I feel like I need to do this or I need to do that. And let me tell you something, I do feel like for a lot of Scorpios, as much as, you know, it's not going to be the most calm time, especially with Saturn right now in your 4th house, Uranus in your 7th house, there is going to be certain partnerships, maybe that you never saw coming, but the partnership that's going to challenge how did you see your roots, how did you see where you are settling down, and there is going to be a change there. Now, of course, you know, Sun is going to shift also into your 7th house from your 6th to your 7th, so there's going to be focus on relationships. I really think, to be honest with you guys, in the next, not just April, but also April, May, June, July, even August, next 5 months, there's going to be a huge focus on your relationships, on your partnerships, and your ability to open up to others, your ability to let others also help you and take care of you is going to be very important for you. For a lot of Scorpios, you forgot, I think, your ability, first of all, of your sex magic, you know, is there, right, for Scorpios. But then also, you know, when you're traumatized, you by nature kind of start rejecting people and be like, you know what, I just want to do everything on my own, I don't want anyone. Yet, you know, for the 8th house and for Scorpio especially, you know, dominant people, your ability to not let your trauma and fear and rejection, you know, like your ability to basically not let these things take over you is what's going to help you succeed and what's going to help you benefit from, you know, from other people, from different things. So as long as you don't let that negative experiences that happen to you kind of be like, well, no one ever is going to do anything for me, I'm always by myself. If you don't let that mentality win, if you instead be like, you know what, I've really transformed, you know, I've paid maybe even bad karma or something like that. Not to say that it's like I believe that necessarily such thing is there. But if you're going to be like, you know what, I'm ready for someone to really love me and to really take care of me, universe is going to provide you that. Given this kind of transit as you are having right now, there is going to be, you know, with South Node transit in your 2nd, you might be like, you know what, I don't want to work so hard anymore. I want to start focusing on home, maybe creating a family, building a home. You might be like, you know what, I actually don't really feel like it's necessary for me to achieve all these career goals. As much as you guys been focused on that, you might be like, you know what, I actually want to. Some people, I even see a scenario, you might, you know, either cut down on work or not feel like you want to work so much, but there's going to be a partner who is going to support you. So your ability to be open to that is also going to largely depend that, and of course your individual chart, but this is something that I'm seeing for a lot of Scorpios. Let's take a look what's going on for Scorpios with tarot. Of course there's a lot more going on with your chart, but too many cards, but I feel that, you know, start opening yourself up to receive from others. Also, if you've been having a very like stagnant sex life, this is also going to be improving, I think, in the next few months. Your first card is 5 of Cups. I want to take a few more cards. We have here 3 of Pentacles, and we also have here the Temperance. The signs I'm seeing are Leo, Gemini, Sagittarius. Doesn't have to be. With the 5 of Cups, I feel either you are going to be comforting somebody who is in a very dark and difficult place, or you yourself, if you're experiencing that, going to be finding comfort in someone. I do feel like through calamity and through sadness, you're actually finding yourself either, you know, kind of like with a new friendship or collaboration, or finding yourself somehow building something new. And with the Temperance, I do feel like it has to do with healing. It has to do with almost like feeling that there is this divine orchestration of events taking place in your life right now. Let's see what else. We have here the Emperor, could also be in Aries. I feel like for a lot of you, there is going to be a focus on building a more stable foundation for yourself. Where is it do you feel not stable? Are you unsettled? Is there something very, like at the very core, the very foundation of your life that needs to be re-examined? Your relationship with a father figure could be very important during this time. You might start healing your relationship with father figure if you had a difficult one. And of course, we have here the Page of Wands. I do feel like a message is coming. Somebody is going to communicate with you. King of Pentacles. It could be a person who is very financially secure, and again, there is this feeling of someone wants to take care of you. There is a person, I feel like, who is very secure and who is almost like feeling that is their duty to, for whatever reason, take care of you. I'm not sure why. Why do they feel that? We have here Ace of Swords with the Four of Swords. I feel like communication with this person been kind of stagnant because this person been really thinking about something too much here. With the Four of Swords, they've been really taking their time to think about something, and communication was not really happening before, which I think really disappointed you because you really expected, I think, something from this. Maybe it was a new person, or maybe it was even a person from the past. You really was expecting some communication. This communication never happened, and you give up on the situation with the Ten of Swords. You were like, whatever, you know what, this is not working out for me. Let's see what else. We have here King of Wands. The signs I'm seeing for this person, or even it could be multiple people for some of you, I'm seeing somebody who has very strong earth in their chart, could be moon, rising, or their sun sign, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, especially I feel Capricorn and Virgo. And also we have here King of Wands, which is Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. So I feel like for some of you, there's even more than one person right now who wants to come into your life. It could be new people as well. We have here the Moon. I sense that for you it's kind of confusing. Like it's almost like all these people are confusing you. You're like, what? You know, I don't want to deal with any confusion anymore. I just want to have people around me who know what they want. So I feel like for some of you guys, there's this feeling where you're just feeling like you're done with everyone and you don't want to hear anything from anyone. There's Cancerian here as well. Let's see what else. But we have here Six of Wands. Six of Wands with the Nine of Pentacles to the Temperance. Temperance again, so once again Sagittarius, also Virgo energy and Leo energy is very strong here. I just feel that somebody here, you know, as you're not looking in their direction, as you're focused maybe on your own things, somebody is actually coming to you. And it's like, the thing is with this person, I don't know if it's a new person or if it's old person, so apply this as it resonates. This person doesn't want to take any chances. It's almost like if they go for you, they want to make sure this goes to either a relationship, or they want to know that they're not going to be even rejected, that it's going to go somewhere. They're coming towards you to win. So they're not coming to just be indecisive or just date or just whatever. If they come in here, they come in with some very clear intention, and there is something that they very specifically want, and they come in also to have victory. Like they are not kind of, you know, how do you say this? You know, when you're not sure what you want, so let's just start talking, blah blah blah. Like this is the kind of person who I feel like also been taking their time to think what they actually want, and if they do end up coming towards you, they want something very specific from you. Could be a new person for some of you. With the Temperance card, I do feel like there's a potential for these things to bloom. There's a spiritual connection here as well, so it could be somebody either spiritual or you just feel spiritually connected to them. And we have here Ace of Wands. There is also passion here, a lot of passion. Like passion and chemistry was not a question in this connection, but it's almost like someone here was waiting for that either divine blessing or divine guidance to start something with the Star card. And you know, it's interesting how we have both the Star and Temperance. So this is something that could be, you know, it's almost like it's something that is part of your story, part of your destiny to be dealing with this person. So it could be a significant connection. With the Four of Cups, however, I feel like are doubting the whole thing. You're like, I don't know about this one. And I do feel like you're moving on. So you're kind of like moving on. You're no longer waiting, because I do feel like you've waited perhaps for people in the past and it's been a disappointing experience. So now the moment you see same kind of like red flags, people making you wait or whatever, you don't do that anymore. We have here the Emperor. However, we have a person here. They could be either in Aries, maybe military, of course, or a boss of their own. They're very determined. Like somebody here will decide to be with you and they will be with you. But with the Two of Swords, I feel like you was becoming closed off. Chariot. It's interesting because I feel like this person almost like has some kind of their own plan that they follow. Once they decide to go for it, they will decide to go for it. If they don't, if it's not, you know, if you have a person who is not doing anything towards you, then it's just not your reading. But I feel like there is a person here who really wants to take their time to figure something out, and once they do it, they want to offer you something serious. Like they really have some kind of plan of also what they want to do with you. I don't know. Don't know how that one sounds. Eight of Pentacles could be a hardworking person. Two of Wands, the Hierophant, Taurus energy as well. There's been a sense of, you know, there's been a sense of kind of looking in each other's direction. And also, I don't know, maybe it's somebody you met and things got serious very quickly, because this is also a very spiritual card, which is like, this is the feeling I have. I don't know, maybe you're from a culture also where like, you know, you start dating and it has to go somewhere serious or something like that. But there seems to be this serious undertone to this connection or relationship, and someone, I think, been taking that time to make sure that if they go for it, how far they can go, what can they actually do with you, that's kind of thing. And also this person, I think, very also physically attracted to you. But I think, I don't know why is it, you know, their spiritual beliefs or whatever, they will not go for a physical connection unless they're serious about it. I don't know who is it you're connecting with. So it's like they will not just go and like hook up with you, basically, even though they want to, if you're wondering. All right, let's see. Let's take you an animal oracle card. We have here Swan Spirit, time for a deep dive. Time for a deep dive and co-create with spirits. I also feel like this is the time for you to really, you know, for those of you who are also isolated, spending time alone, this is the time for you to create, to go really deep into your emotions, to see how can you take your emotions, whatever those emotions are, channel them into creativity. But I do feel like there is a sense of you being pushed to start looking, especially if you've been ignoring your emotions, if you've been overworking yourself, working too hard. There is a sense of you needing to slow down. Saturn really is going to want you to slow down, especially if you've been going non-stop, work, let's do this project, let's do that project. Saturn is going to want you to slow down and to really start looking at your emotions. I know for a lot of Scorpios, this is not what you want to hear, because you've been on this ride of being super independent, you know, for the past, I don't know how many months, even years for some people. But Saturn going into your 4th house is going to want you to slow down. Don't be scared about money. I do think you're going to be okay financially, but there is going to be a focus of you either collaborating with others more, maybe uniting with other people more for work, or also really, you know, especially for females, I do feel like there is a sense of you maybe even living with someone and letting someone also be more with you. Like, I'm not saying they're gonna pay you bills, but I'm saying that there's someone here who wants to take care of you. And I feel like for you, it's going to be important to let this person take care of you, open up that part of yourself which you've been feeling very closed about, not letting people in because you're scared they're going to betray you. It's going to be very important to open yourself up. Of course, protect yourself, but still, you can still open yourself up. And I do feel like from some relationship here, there's going to be a lot of support and a lot of protection coming for you. Anyway, Scorpios, we're going to take this to the extended to learn about this even more. Link to the extended is going to be down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and we're going to talk really soon. Don't forget to vote if you want a bonus reading as well. All signs are going to be able to vote. I hope I'm going to be able to doing your bonus reading as always. And anyway, now let's move to Pisces. Hi Pisces, welcome to your April reading. So let's talk about what are the most important things you need to know for your April prediction. So of course for you, we have Saturn in your 12th house, and we have Uranus in your 3rd house. We have also Venus going from your 3rd house to your 4th house. So there seems to be, you know, a beginning of a very important chapter of your life where it's really time to kind of like close all those loose ends. Is if there has been certain chapters maybe you've been trying to, you know, avoid walking away from, if there has been certain, you know, something that's been holding you back for a very long time, what can you do to actually, you know, prepare yourself for this new beginnings that is going to be coming into your life very soon, but in a way where, you know, you look at your life and you see where perhaps the way you see the world, where perhaps, you know, the way you envision things is just not, you know, going to help you get to your, you know, best self-expression or best life. So it's interesting because, you know, Jupiter is going to be conjunct Pluto also in your 11th house in the sign of Capricorn. So there seems to be also this big focus on what is your actual dream, like where do you actually want to be, like where do you want to see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now, a year from now. It feels like right now there is so much chaos for you, and you just feel like, you know, there's a sense for you, especially I feel like that everything is ending with Neptune on your ascendant sign, as well as if it's ascendant you're watching for sun or moon. There is just that sense of confusion, but I feel like what's going to really help you get through whatever it is you're going through is to look at where's the dream, where's the vision for yourself. Of course, Jupiter is your ruling planet, and being conjunct Pluto, there is going to be, I think, certain transformation, maybe certain endings for some Pisces. So I do feel like for you, it is important to look on the bright side, and also to see, like, to really ask yourself, what is your dream? Why are you here in this world? What is it you're here to do? So Mercury is going to be in your sign and then going to the sign of Aries. So there is going to be a big focus on yourself versus also your self-worth. What is your, you know, your income, your money? This is going to be important. Try to once again think for yourself in terms of what is the vision? Where is the vision? Where is this vision leading you? Because of course 11th house here and, you know, Jupiter being there is going to be very important. I think the more you can align yourself with your vision this month, as much as it's hard, the more you're going to find yourself on the better, you know, end of whatever situations you're dealing with now. Let's take a look at your tarot. Your first card is Two of Swords. I feel like for a lot of Pisces, there's a lot of confusion right now, uncertainty. So, am I supposed to end this situation? Am I supposed to end this relationship? Is this the end as we know it? You know, this kind of things. Pay attention to what's going to happen in the first week of April. Do be more careful. For Pisces, it's more important to be careful. But at the same time, I think the first full moon that we're going to have around April 7, full moon in Libra, you know, this is going to be an important time for you. It's going to be a time where it's like, if there is certain things perhaps you were not able to accept, or maybe certain secrets, they could be coming out. Some secrets and some things where you couldn't make sense of things, why things are the way they are, it's going to be important. I'm also looking at how, you know, she's sitting here and there's a lot of water. I feel like you've closed yourself to your own emotions. Emotions might have been a roller coaster for you recently. And it's like, it's interesting, your second card is Eight of Swords. I think for Pisces right now, it's not the easiest time. It seems to be that whatever you're trying to do, you're blocked, you don't know in which direction to go. And it seems to be there is this confusion, there is this darkness even around you. I do feel like you might be experiencing this, and I did just now a reading, I think it was Cancer. Cancer is going to be feeling this also in the first few weeks of April. But with the Knight of Wands, I do feel there is going to be important conversations and important developments, maybe even declarations of love, that's really going to uplift you. So whether it is you stretching your hand to someone and, you know, just expressing your feelings, or somebody coming towards you with expression of feelings, this is what's going to help you a lot. And if you don't have such person, I feel like you looking in the direction of love, you looking how you can give more love, you just thinking even about love, is what's also going to help you get through whatever difficulties you're experiencing right now. Let's see what else for my Pisces. There is this feeling of this new beautiful love possible. But it's almost like, you know, you have also last month of North Node, of course, in your 5th house, and South Node in your 11th house. So it's like, what have you learned about love also in the past few years? What have you learned about, you know, yourself even when it comes to love? We have your Ace of Cups with the Ace of Swords. I do feel like this is about clarity when it comes to love. There is going to be important communication and important conversation with someone. It's probably going to be like a message, a text, whatever, messenger, DM, or whatever you're going to get. And I think that it's going to be, you know, it's either going to be a beginning of a new love, maybe new love relationship, or clarity. So even if you're going to be like, well, I know for sure now that this is not the person for me, or this is not where I'm supposed to be, you're going to receive that clarity, because Ace of Cups to me is love and Ace of Swords is clarity. So truth is really coming out for a lot of you, especially, you know, about something perhaps with this full moon in Libra in your 8th house, about something that you were not able to figure out for quite some time. We also have here Temperance. I do feel like whatever is happening right now, it is, you know, there's a sense of receiving protection here, but also there is a sense of really things going in the direction where they're supposed to be. There is important Sagittarius maybe also in your life. And we have here Knight of Swords. You're going to be talking, I feel like, with a lot of people, clearing things up. It doesn't have to be just about love. It could be work contracts, it could be your family members. There is going to be a lot of conversation, which makes a lot of sense, since, you know, Sun is going to be going into your 3rd house, and Sun is going to be in your 3rd house, and Venus is going to be also in your 3rd house for some time in April, going into your 4th. So there's going to be conversations with family members, with siblings, with neighbors, with different people, just in general. Conversations, social media. These conversations are going to help you, I feel like, understand a lot about yourself. And we have here, wow, Ace of Wands. And I think what's going to be very clear for you this month is what are the things you want to continue going together with, like what are the things you want to continue basically in your life, what are the things you want to initiate, and what are the things that also it's time to end. This new beginning versus ending seems to be a very big theme for you this month. There is going to be an attraction, I feel like, with someone, maybe an attraction with a new person, a spark, a lot of creativity. I feel like a lot of Pisces are going to feel very creative this month as well. And we have here a Nine of Cups. I do feel like as much as things are difficult right now, try to find something also that you can look forward to. Because for me, Three of Wands is waiting. Of course, it's travel, most likely not going to happen, you know, this month. But with the Three of Wands is waiting for something, and Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. What is the dream that you have that's really giving your life meaning? What is it, you know, you can look forward to? Try to focus on that as well. And of course we have here the Seven of Swords with the Magician. I do feel like it's somebody being dishonest with you, if there's been some trickery. Even I'll be honest with you guys, this is even on a global level. If there's been something fishy going on, it's very likely that around full moon of Libra, which is April 7 to 8, there is going to be something coming out, you know, to the surface. There is going to be some secret or some mystery being opened here. Whatever trickery been going on, Magician with the Seven of Swords is not a good combination. It's gonna come out. We have here Page of Wands. You're gonna learn something also. Five of Pentacles. You're gonna learn something about a situation where perhaps someone wasn't giving you what you wanted. You're gonna understand why was it this way. Whether this person had someone else or just didn't consider a relationship, maybe wasn't attracted to you. If someone wasn't giving you what you wanted, you're gonna find out why. And even if it's, let's say, an issue of their own life and has nothing to do with you, you're also gonna find out why. Fire sign energy stands out very strongly for you, especially Sag, but also Aries and Leo. Leo less, but like Aries and Sag stands out. There is going to be overall, I think, for your sign, I forgot what other sign I was seeing as well, Aries, I think, yeah, Aries and Pisces both are going to have a lot of conversations this coming month, this coming April. So there is that energy. All right, let's see what else. We have here Seven of Cups. I do feel like with Seven of Cups, Six of Pentacles to the Four of Pentacles, I do feel like you're still feeling confused about some things. And it's weird because you're not sure how much should you give. Maybe there's also a person who is asking for your help right now, or you yourself are asking someone for your help, and there is this kind of like you're unclear how much you should give, how much you should also keep for yourself, whether you should be. There is also, I feel like you're going to be invited to be a part of some project where there's going to be there 2 or 3 other people involved, and you're also not sure how much and what you want to contribute to that project. There is that energy. And with the Four of Pentacles, some of you are also like, you know what, I just want to stay where I am right now. I don't feel like this is the time for me to go anywhere else. Overall, there is a lot of confusion, but I feel like whatever this confusion is, you're going to be coming out of this energy. You're going to start seeing a lot more clearly, especially, you know, when Mars, not Mars, oh my god, I'm messing up the planets in your reading today. When Mercury is going to shift from your sign going into Aries and then going into Taurus, a lot of things will become clear. The soul searching you've done perhaps during your Mercury retrograde is going to also help you understand where you've been maybe overextending yourself, doing way too much, where you can cut back Seven of Wands. There's something here about boundaries as well. How can you protect yourself more so that people maybe don't drain you or don't use you too much? How you maybe been overgiving where it wasn't necessary, maybe it wasn't even asked for. How have you drained yourself by maybe doing too much or carrying too much? Let's see what else. Ouch. So my new rule is when it falls face down, I don't read it. I used to read it like that, but now if it falls face up, I read it. Face down, don't read it. Let's see what else. We have here the moon with the Eight of Wands. Overall, once again, there is a sense for Pisces that there is a secret coming out, something that's been hidden, something that's been unclear, secret coming out through conversations, through communications. And I think that whatever stuck position you've been finding yourself in before, with the Two of Swords, with the Eight of Swords, you're going to be rising and getting out of that situation. Now let's see what is the message for you from Oracle cards. We have here Parrot Spirit, watch your words, and also Rabbit. Now is the lucky time. I feel like, you know, I told you, right? There were so many conversations taking place for Pisceans. With Parrot Spirit, this is about watching your words. So I do feel like some conversations you're going to be having are going to be very pleasant, others maybe not so much. So this is going to be important for you to really also watch how you speak, what you say. Do you trust people that you may be confided in? It's going to be important because I feel like for some of you there is this feeling that you might be scrutinized for some things you say. However, if you are a little bit more careful, I also feel with this Rabbit Spirit, you could manifest some lucky opportunities or lucky circumstances for you. So I do feel like there is a certain sense of protection here for you. However, you still do need to be more careful just because, you know, there's a lot of confusion going on. There is some secrets also that are going to be coming out. I don't really feel they are yours, even though it could be. But I feel like if especially you've been dealing with someone or with some situation that's been extremely unclear with the Seven of Swords here, you're going to start seeing where was the secret hidden. Why was it so confusing? So anyway, Pisces, I hope you enjoyed this. We're going to take this to the extended to take a look at everything even deeper. I do feel like there's a lot of communication, a lot of developments taking place for you this month with loved ones, with a person maybe you've ever but you haven't talked so much before. There is a manifestation also of important conversations that's going to help you get out of a place where I feel like you guys have been stuck for a while. Don't forget there is going to be some kind of truth in love being offered, and it's important for you to also really, you know, listen to also the things that you hear. Maybe don't trust everything, but do listen to messages coming up this month. Anyway, Pisceans, thank you so much for watching. Link to the extended is going to be down below. Thank you guys so much, and we're going to talk soon. Bye bye.